So in the past, I've talked a little bit about how you, the citizens, have the power. And I said that, but do you feel it? Do you feel like you have the power? I mean, what does power even feel like? With teachers, parents, authorities, Walmart security telling you do this, do that, sit down, shut up. It certainly doesn't feel like you have the power. I mean, who makes these rules anyways? Well, like I said before, indirectly, everybody does. Every citizen does. Every adult citizen. But only if you know the rules. And unfortunately, many people don't know the rules. And a hint, there are many people who want to keep it that way. Okay, so the most important thing to understand about what it means to have a limited government is the idea that we live in an economy of free enterprise. Free enterprise allows for people and businesses to make their own choices about how best to run their businesses, what they sell, what they buy, and ultimately how to use the money they earn and the property they own with as little government regulation as possible. This doesn't mean no government. This doesn't mean the government stays out of everybody's business. What it means is we have a government that only gets involved as much as we want it to keep peace, to keep order. So the role of the government in a free enterprise is to limit its interference, have very little interference other than what we want it to have. Now you might be thinking, hold up, limited interference? I mean, we've all got all kinds of rules. We've got rules for everything, like when I can go to lunch, when I can sit down, when I can go here, when I can go there. I mean, like limited interference. What are you talking about? All right, true. There are, again, many, many rules, many, many laws. That's why we have lawyers, because there's so many laws, we can't get them straight. And that is a criticism and a discussion that we will likely have at a future date. But at essence, the way our government is supposed to work, the way that our Constitution, the highest law of our land, is written, the idea is that we call government limited because it's limited by the people. We can have a strong government, we can have a weak government, but whatever kind of government we have, it's one that has permission from the people to even exist at all. One of the earliest individuals to propose such an idea was a man by the name of Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes invented what's known as social contract theory. Under social contract theory, a government is legitimate only so long as the people voluntarily agree to hand over their power to the state. So in a limited government, we give the government our power. We give it up, trusting that that government will use it wisely, but also knowing we've signed an unwritten contract saying, we're going to give you this power, but if you abuse it, we're going to take it back. Because Thomas Hobbes believed that humans weren't born with government. That isn't our natural state. It's a human-created things like cars and radios and boats. So therefore, it only exists because we have that unwritten understanding. Otherwise, if we didn't have a government, if we didn't have any kind of organization or rules, we'd have the purge. Because that is what Hobbes believed about humanity, that we're vicious, self-interested, violent creatures that will ultimately just destroy each other in chaos if we don't create a strong government, that he compared to a leviathan, a giant sea creature that destroys ships. That's the government. We do need to create a big, powerful government that can smack people around, so long as we have their hands on the chains. We control that leviathan. We control that beast. And if that beast gets out of hand, we can yank it down. That is the essence, that is the metaphor used to describe social contract theory. A strong government that has a lot of power, a lot of rules, a lot of enforcement that we ultimately control and can put down if need be. Decades later, when American colonists were trying to decide whether or not to rebel, to revolt against the King of England and start a brand new country, an individual named Thomas Paine wrote a 47-page pamphlet trying to convince the other colonists that the King of England had broken this social contract, this unwritten agreement that we give you the power with the understanding that you, the king, you, the government, keep the peace, maintain our security. And now that you're not doing that, now that you're actually doing the opposite and disrupting our peace and committing acts of violence on our people, we can consider you to be in violation of your contract. And we, the colonists, are now free agents to join any team that we like because we are no longer part of the English team. Even if that means making our own team, making our own government. Because government, as powerful as it is, should always be accountable to the people, to the citizens. We control the government, and when it controls us, it's only when we allow it to. Now, ultimately, Thomas Paine was successful. The American colonists did revolt and did form a brand new government reflecting, among other theories, the social contract theory. Decades later, long after the dust had settled and the United States government had been going along with its constitution for about 40 years or so, a Frenchman named Alexis de Tocqueville decided to tour America and look around and see, how is this working? Is this new type of government realistic? Can people create a strong, Leviathan-like government and maintain control of it without it taking control of the people holding onto its chains? Is the Leviathan truly under control of the people? And even if it is, what happens if the beasts get free? That's all there is for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll be discussing this in class. Thank you.